Folks, you know who it is, your favorite person's favorite person. Thank you for being here for the NAMCA podcast, where we obviously only chatted up with the best of the best. That's not an understatement at all. And we definitely want to make sure that we have a great experience learning from just amazing folks that you should want to learn from and hear from too. Now, today is like any other day. We're certainly going to talk to a rock star higher ed professional who absolutely not only loves their job and understands their job, but constantly working on how to be better at it on a regular basis, and has a bright, sunshiny disposition to match all the amazing work as well. So wherever you are, stomp your hands and clap your feet. Clap your feet and stomp your hands for Britney Campbell. Britney, come on in.
How's it going? That was a great introduction. I love that, by the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And now we talked a little bit before. You said finally the sun is out, feeling better. Where are you at right now?
I am in Baltimore, Maryland. Like I said, we finally have some consistent sun after it's been snowing like twice a week for the month of January. So, I'm living off that right now.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've heard folks talk about living in the Northwest and how, again, like Portland and Seattle, they always say how beautiful it is, but that it's just kind of like,
yeah. So, I'm waiting for spring, kind of counting down the days so we can have those longer evenings, warmer days,
Ah, I love that note. All right, cool. So now the moment that I've been waiting for, now you've been waiting for to everyone else listening. Right now, Brittany, I just want you to just brag about yourself personally and professionally, but unapologetically for however long it takes, okay? It takes however long it needs to take for you to brag at yourself. But get it going right now. Brag on yourself. How amazing are you?
Ooh, all right. I guess this is going to be my not so humble brag. But so one of the first things I'm super proud of is just the fact that I have 3 degrees, 2 of which are masters, and we're done at the same time simultaneously. Can't tell you how I did it, but, grace of God and everybody else, 3 of those accomplished that. Been working in higher ed for about 3 years doing that, been really connected with students and kind of, building that community there. What else? Pretty good cook.
Okay.
Music curator, cinephile, all those cool like names and things like that. That's me. I feel like this should be longer, but it's not. So super intelligent,
Yeah, super intelligent. That's what I'm talking. Give it to us. Don't cheat us, okay? Don't cheat us of your greatness. I mean, heck, not 1, not 2, but 3. There are 2 masters that once talk to us about that. Tell us how easy that was. Tell us how easy.
Oh yeah, super, very easy. I did it in my sleep. No, the way that came about, I played college basketball Division III, and towards the end of that time, I realized I wanted to go into coaching, but you needed a master's for that. So throughout the summer, I enrolled into a program, and that was getting started in August. Around the same time, my basketball coach, he left his current position. So I asked, is there a way for me to get involved? The athletic director at the time, he moved some things around and offered me a graduate assistant position where I was able to get my master's and be the assistant coach for the program and department assistant. So it was really, the opportunity was there. I had to take it. I'd be a fool if I didn't have to take it, So that's how I ended up doing that, coaching basketball and being there. And it did a lot for me professionally and personally as I grew as a leader. So super thankful for that time. Like I said, it's weird. I never thought I would have, 2 master's degrees and any of that. So it's just a very, very cool spot on the resume,
Heck yeah, for sure. And, fellow NAMCA partner, Odell Bazell, he's a hooper, and he says that, you may have not mentioned being a hooper before. Just tell us more about your hoop, what position do you play? And I'm going to ask you a question after that may very well determine the status of our relationship moving forward. Okay.
Ooh, okay. All right.
But tell us, you as a hooper, what's the best part about your game? What's something you wish you could be a little bit better at? Anything?
Yeah, so surprisingly, I'm like 5'6". I played the 2, 3, and the 4. So I guess a wide range of things. I really enjoyed defense. And that's purely based off the fact that in high school, I was not a good shooter. I didn't have a good offensive game. So defense is where, where I shined.
I love it.
Um, my brag, I got bounced to me. I can get up there. So one thing that I wanted to do before graduating was dunk, but I was just missing a couple of inches. But I was
Just
up there. So
close. Be slapping the backboard for sure. Get the
oh,
backboard piece.
definitely. From time to time, I look at my highlight reel. I'm like, dang, I could have gone a little bit farther with it. But
Really?
yeah,
That's real
yeah.
cool. No telling, might put that, might find a reel of yours and put it in the comment section so folks can, check out what you can do. That's what we do. We highlight the best of the best of what they do. That's awesome. Now, here's a
Yeah.
question that could determine the future of our relationship. Now, Brittany, moving
Mm,
forward,
okay.
I gotta ask you, LeBron James
Mm.
or Michael Jordan? Who you got? I know they're two different areas, but I gotta ask if you could only put one at the top of the top. I mean, you know what you're talking about. You're a smart person, so I'm just gonna throw it out there: LeBron James or
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan.
That's not a fair question, but I'm gonna answer it for the sake of the podcast. Please, nobody hate me. I'm gonna go with LeBron James, just for this generation and kind of the overall humanitarian that he is, as well as an outstanding basketball player. Ooh, that was hard to answer though. You finally made me say it out loud.
Right, that's what here to put your feet to the fire. Okay, that's what all this is about. This is all
Yeah.
Come. Gotta be honest with some things. Maybe sometimes I need to hear it. Okay, maybe sometimes I need to hear it. And one last basketball
Yeah.
question I'll ask.
Mm-hmm.
NBA, WNBA. Do you think that there's a franchise like what would you say, like one of the best franchises that you are aware of that you'd really like, heck, to work with, or hear from? Like, this franchise, they're phenomenal.
Yeah. I'm biased, I play basketball, so I'm gonna go with the WNBA, and it's simply because it's very talented, and obviously, it's a lot different from NBA, but there's just a lot of talent and passion there, and there's so much room for the sport to grow and continue to grow. And that's something that I want to see, and something that younger hoopers want to see as well, is like that potential for them to become a WNBA player. So I'm rooting for the WNBA. We know NBA is going to be just fine.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. I appreciate your transparency. And heck, I feel like there could be a connection. Do you feel like there's some things you learned from your athletic career, even academic career, that have helped you in the world of student affairs thus far in your, what pieces have you been able to bring over that makes sense that you enjoy?
Right. Yeah. The job that I'm in now, I would say my experiences outside of the classroom kind of led me to this position. So being involved in clubs and orgs, and then also being on the basketball team and a student leader in that way, it teaches you a lot about discipline, event planning, preparation, communication, different operations, things like that. And that is solely a lot of what I'm doing right now, a lot of leadership development and kind of how to mentor people and have that conversation so they can be the best person or best athlete or best club leader they can be. So definitely some, lines being crossed and transferable skills in that way.
That's awesome. So I know that you're a couple years in the game now. What advice would you have for someone that's just kind of getting in to help someone be more comfortable in the world of student affairs? Because it's not often one that people are familiar with or
Yeah.
can transition into easily without knowing some of the other ebbs and flows.
Yeah. Advice. I think right now the word that's coming to mind is like flexibility. I think you have to be willing to be flexible and show that you have a passion for leading and learning. Like if you're a teacher and you want to get into student affairs, working in that and higher education, things like that, I think you kind of have to highlight those skills. Coming from coaching, I was able to, talk a little bit how I transferred like leadership development over into higher education and how that would be, something that is very needed in higher ed and working with clubs and student leaders and things like that. So I think highlighting those skills is the best way to kind of get that step, and also, talking to people, getting in the chats and networking, really. Yeah.
Great. Couple things that I was thinking about, because obviously we're in this new world, if you will,
Mhm.
especially given the pandemic we were talking about briefly before we hopped on, this virtual kind of vortex of understanding. Like, what's been your biggest adjustment? Has it been smooth for you? Does it
Oof.
make sense? Like, what's been your vibe, and let's say your vibe with students as it pertains to the ebbs and flows of virtual, in person, figuring it all out?
Yeah. We have been back on campus since August 2020, and that has definitely had its ups and downs and ebbs and flows and challenges in and of itself. We did lean really heavily on virtual events, and some of them were well attended, but a lot of them, some of them weren't, and that's duly based on solely based on students being in classes virtually all the time. So being back on campus, we started to do a lot of grab and go type of events and things like that. But at this point, they want to be in person. They want to be doing our regular events. They want all of that, and I think we've done a really good job at bringing those events back. Like we had a kind of a full size homecoming. Of course, everything has mask and hand sanitizer involved and things like that. But yeah, students obviously they're over the pandemic. They want to be in purpose. They want to be in person. They want to be holding those like traditional college events and things like that. So you were doing our best to be safe, but give that experience to them.
For sure. Now you mentioned, events obviously and experiences, and probably
Mhm.
along with those, you work with vendors, whether it be speakers or talent that come. What's something that you'd be like, yes, absolutely do this. This makes you really easy to work with. Awesome. And then
Mhm.
is there anything you're like, no, this actually makes life a pain to work with you? Like, is anything that come to mind?
Um, I think right now, students are really enjoying like hands-on type of craft events and speakers and things like that. Like we recently had did a sex ed boot camp where we had people come in and kind of talk about safe sex and things like that on campus. Bingo was really popular if you're hosting
Oh,
things like that.
that's good bingo.
They love bingo here. They love it. What else? Small musical concerts and things like that are things that we know our student body likes. So if you're into that, you provide that service. We take some. We look at that.
Yeah, that's really, really
Hmm.
cool. And is there
Yeah.
anything like, absolutely, if you do this, you're dead to me?
Ah,
And if not,
I
I
think.
don't want to pull anything from you, but if there's something you
Mhm,
feel like, if you're listening, never
mhm.
do this. No telling. Someone might be watching right now. You could help save their professional lives, not drive you crazy.
No, I think the great thing about college is that, you may be able to offer anything, and depending on what the students want, like they'll do what they need to do to bring it to campus. So you can kind of work with anything. There's nothing that's like really off-putting right now. I just say that make sure the communication is very clear, because that is one of the complaints I heard earlier. Communication just being a little off depending on the business, but nothing that's outright a no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Appreciate you so much. So,
Yeah.
listen, how did Student Affairs find you officially? How did you find it? How are they first got to
Um,
grab you up?
yeah, when I was transitioning out of athletics, I still wanted to be involved on a college campus. I really like the atmosphere and the relationships you can build with students. So I thought about the events that our school put on and what office put that on. I was like, I think I want to do that. Planning parties and bringing moon bounces to a college campus and
Yeah.
things like that. That sounds like a fun job. So I looked for it, found it on Indeed, and a couple of interviews later, I was offered the job. So it's been a really great experience since then, and I'm super happy and grateful to be in this place.
That's awesome. Free commercial for you, Indeed, unless you want to drop a check to Brittany Campbell, by the way. It does work, people. Indeed does work.
Indeed
That's
does work. Yes.
that's really awesome. So
Yeah.
from an association standpoint, obviously, that's what NAMCA is. You may finally, find yourself part of other
Mhm.
associations, but certainly with us or in general, what's something
Mhm.
that associations can do to make your life easier? Is there anything you think that, let's say, associations can provide
Mhm.
or uh, or offer that would make your life easier?
Easier. If you can get a way to get my students to read my emails, that'll be great.
Okay.
But we get a lot of emails in our like general inbox, and that's kind of how we learn more about these different conferences and associations and things like that. And I think that's a good way for NAMCA and other places like it to get their word out, get their name out, so we know what's going on. You know, sometimes, well, it's been a while, but we do go to NACA and different things like that. So anywhere where your name can be seen, we definitely would appreciate that, because it's easier than us having to go out and look for this, you know?
Yeah.
And it's right there in your inbox.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me and the NAM fam. Any final words? It's also last opportunity for now to brag on you, or any other words you'd like to leave for someone that's watching this that would like to hear from you, or that you would like to say something to.
Ooh, I should have prepared for this.
Hey, we can have you back. We could always do a repeat. Okay. We can remix.
Right now, where I am in life, I think I kind of just want to drop a gem about, like, don't be afraid to kind of change and go with the flow of life, which is kind of basic, but you know, your goals, they change depending on where you are in life, so don't be afraid to change with them. And that's how I'm going to end that.
Oh, that's what we're doing? That was, man, your goals change with. That is absolutely a bar. That's an amazing soundbite, and really, really appreciate you sharing it with us, Britney.
Yeah.
For those of y'all watching right now in real time, or you end up listening to this on the NAMCA podcast, another amazing guest, Britney Campbell. Make sure you know who Britney Campbell is as she continues on her rise to the top of everything and anything that she worked towards. Because we always have to consider and understand that we don't have to be perfect. We just have to be willing to make some progress, which speaks directly to what Britney was just talking about now. That being said, honestly, make sure you continue to make, your best move, your next move, your best move. Cedric certainly loved the chat, and it's always a pleasure to be here. For you all continuing to grow and learn, remember to be patient with you. Be fair to yourself along in this journey called life, and be kind to those around you, and watch your world begin to shift too. That being said, my name is Stan Pearson II. You're already here first. Have an amazing day. Take care, y'all. Peace.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you for being here.